Hello, Year 3, and welcome to this week's Lit Classroom on length and perimeter, which is going to be our new unit. So when we're looking at length, there'll be lots of different categories, and then towards the end of the unit, we will be looking at perimeter. So our first part is measuring length. So we can measure length in different ways. So here I have an example of measuring length in centimeters and millimeters. So you can see here, when we're measuring in millimeters, we have these teeny tiny lines. These teeny tiny lines represent 1 millimeter. So we can see here, we've got 5 millimeters. Now the longer lines on our rulers are our centimeters. So here we have got 5 centimeters, and we need to know that 10 millimeters is equal to 1 centimeter. So when we are measuring this leaf, we can do it in a mix of centimeters and millimeters, or we can measure it in just millimeters. So the first step is to measure it in your centimeters. So I look at my longer lines and it goes all the way up to 4. It doesn't quite go up to 5. And then I'd have to look at my millimeters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 centimeters and 6 millimeters. And then if we go to this, where we're just looking at millimeters, so you can see here it goes up in intervals of 10. And we've got our little lines which represent 1 millimeter. If we look at our leaf, it goes all the way up to 38 millimeters. So the next part is equivalent length. So we've just discussed one equivalent length, which is 10 millimeters being equal to 1 centimeter. But the other equivalent length, which you need to know, equivalent meaning equal to, is 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. So if we are looking at millimeters and we want to convert it, so we want to change it into centimeters, we divide by 10. If we want to change centimeters into meters, we have to divide by 100. But if we want to change our meters into centimeters, we multiply by 100. And then centimeters to millimeters, we times by 100. So we can see here there is an example of we start at centimeters. So altogether, I have got 317 centimeters. I can then split that up in my bar model into 2 groups of centimeters. So I've got my 300 centimeters and my 17 centimeters. And using my conversion chart, I've started with centimeters. I'm going to divide by 100 to get me 3 meters. Don't have to change my centimeters. So I got altogether here 3 meters and 17 centimeters. We then have a look at comparing length. So you've got to make sure you're using your conversions when we're also comparing length. So here we're comparing 6 millimeters and 6 centimeters. So knowing that 6 centimeters is equal to 60 millimeters is very important here. So here we know that 6 millimeters is shorter than 6 centimeters. And that's the same as we go down. You can see we've started to convert some of them so that they are equal measurement type. So we're able to look. So we're looking at our units of measure here. So here we change my centimeters into millimeters to make sure that we understood our comparison. Here we're changing our unit from meters to centimeters. And in the next example down, centimeters to millimeters. And we can do the same when we are adding and subtracting lengths as well. So you need to make sure when you are adding and subtracting lengths, the most key thing that you need to remember is that our units of measure are the same. Otherwise, it won't work. So you can see here that when I'm adding my lengths, I've got a mix of centimeters and millimeters. So in my next bar down, I have changed them both to millimeters to make it easier for myself. Whereas here, I've been given meters, and we know it's already in meters, and centimeters. So I can start by using my meters, and then I can convert and subtract my millimeters. Not millimeters, my centimeters. So we've got to just make sure our units of measure are right for the question we are doing. Then finally, the perimeter. So the perimeter is our key word for the term. So the perimeter is a distance around a shape or an object. So you can see here the dotted line represents our perimeter. So when we have a rectangle, to find the perimeter, we have to measure the length and add all the sides together. The reason our pentagon, the reason our pentagon only has one unit of measure because it's a regular hexagon, not a hexagon, it's a regular pentagon, and regular shapes have equal sides, so exactly like a square. So I know that a pentagon has 5 sides, so I can do 5 groups of 3. Then we've got the perimeter is 20 centimeters. We can work out the distance around by using our knowledge of perimeter. So we know that 2 sides of the rectangle will also be the same length, and these 2 sides will be the same length. So you can see I've done 6 plus 6, which is my 2 longer sides of the rectangle, which is 12. I've subtracted that from my perimeter, which 20 subtract 12 gives me 8 centimeters. Then I can divide my 8 centimeters by the 2 sides. Now, looking at our key vocabulary for this term, we have got meters, centimeters, millimeters, height, length, width, perimeter, furthest, longest, highest, higher, longer, longest, shorter, shortest, taller, tallest. These are all words that you will come across in your questions and when we have been discussing them in class. Now, to let your teacher know what mistake I made, you'll be getting a house point. So you need to let them know what mistake I made in the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.